The Global Teaching Prize.
The prestigious award is considered the Nobel for educators.
They're already talking about this as the Nobel for teachers.
It was a prize for teaching excellence.
$1 million prize recognizing an outstanding contribution to the teaching
One of the most
profession.
coveted and high-profile teaching excellence awards.
All of us care about education, care about creating a peaceful world. We must work together and do whatever it takes to put the importance of teachers at the forefront. That's why we have created a $1 million prize to find the greatest teacher in the world.
Like all of you, our foundation believes in the power of teachers to transform students' lives. We're focused on ensuring that every classroom has an effective, well-supported teacher, and on empowering teachers to shape and build their profession.
When each of us thinks about what we can do in life, chances are we can do it because of a teacher.
They spark curiosity within a child and nurture the dreams that can change our world for the better.
Un niño tiene derecho a jugar y parte de la educación es enseñar a jugar a los chicos.
The key to unlocking a lifelong love of learning is a teacher.
I can tell you right now, from where I stand, with all my experience, the real superheroes are teachers. They're the ones that change the world.
That is why I'm delighted to be part of this event that honors teachers everywhere.
The most important thing this prize has done is to reawaken the world's appreciation of the importance of teachers.
The teacher is the knowledgeable one who makes a huge difference in the children's self-esteem.
My goal is to be able to give them the tools that they need to be masters of their own destiny.
The Global Teacher Prize goes to Nancy Atwell.
Nanalo po.
Maggie MacDonald. Andrea Zafiraku.
The winner of the Global Teacher Prize for 2019 is Peter Tabachi.
To be a great teacher, you have to be creative, embrace technology. You really have to promote those modern ways of teaching. You have to do more and talk less.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Good day, everyone, to our panelists, moderators, and to all our viewers in ICO and DepEd Facebook pages. Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Welcome to our virtual discussion on teachers and learners at the heart of education recovery. This is one of the activities and celebration of the World Teachers Day and National Teachers Month. I am Nino Silibio of the International Cooperation Office. The Republic Act number 10743, or an act declaring the fifth day of October of every year as the National Teachers Day, and UNESCO have designated October 5 of every year as World Teachers Day. It is a day to honor teachers and the central role they play in guiding children, youth, and adults through lifelong learning process. In the Philippines, it has been made a month-long celebration through the issuance of Proclamation number 242 in 2011, entitled Declaring the Period from September 5 to October 5 of every year as National Teachers Month. And to begin with our celebration, let us hear a message from no less the mother of our institution, the Honorable Lenore Magtolis Briones, Secretary of the Department of Education.
Good day, everyone, especially our teachers who continue serving with all their hearts, with all their minds, and with all their creative capacities to continue the learning process for our children. I want to congratulate the DepEd International Office, as well as all the teachers who have participated in the nomination process, the screening, and everything else to come to this conclusion, to come to this concluding program where we give honor and recognition to past winners of the Global Teacher Prize, and at the same time encourage our new nominees. The idea of sharing and informing our 947,000 teachers of the possibility of being chosen as the outstanding global teacher for a particular year was my concept. I suggested to ICO that it is high time that we encourage our teachers to participate not only in national, in regional, but also in global events like this Global Teacher Prize. You probably have heard that the Global Teacher Prize involves a $1 million award for the one single winner. And as they say, there can only be one. And I am very proud to report that since its inception in 2015, the Global Teachers Prize always had finalists and nominees from the Philippines who qualified and who were chosen over thousands and thousands of teachers who shared their experience in teaching children, in developing ways of transmitting knowledge, and in encouraging not only the children but also the parents and the communities to participate in the process of education. I'm very happy that this year we have two finalists, and these are Michelle Rubio of Sorsogon City and Dr. Bryant Akar of Lapu-Lapu City. We wish you the best. We wish you and we pray for your success, and we look forward to the time when the Philippines will have a global teacher awardee. We have finalists, and they really are very, very close to the first place because they usually have 10 finalists. And I usually accompany the contestants, our chosen nominees and contestants, to Dubai itself because the prize is donated by the Sheikh of Dubai to cheer them on and to encourage them, and in an event which is very, very exciting, where the teacher is given his due. And so, as we celebrate, as we reminisce, I hope also that past nominees, past finalists will share their experience. I don't know if we can call it grueling experience of, being nominated, of demonstrating the new ways of teaching, of sitting through interviews and all the screening that happens because this is done on a worldwide scale. I hope that you will share your experience. I also hope that you will share whatever tips you can share with your finalists at this time on how to enhance the possibility of finally being chosen. So I wish all of our teachers the very, very best. Continue the effort to develop new ways of teaching, of helping and mentoring our learners. It's not so much, but then it is quite substantial as well because this is a $1 million award to aspire for. But it is even much better to aspire for more learned learners, for more children, eyes being opened, eyes and minds being opened through new ways of teaching, of reaching those who have not been reached at all, of serving communities which have not been served at all, as for example in our Last Mile Schools program. So I wish you the best of luck. I congratulate again the past nominees and finalists. I would have wanted to meet you again personally because I had the opportunity to meet you before. And I look forward to victory, to inspiration for our two finalists. And I hope that you come home and bring home the bacon in a manner of speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Briones, for that heartwarming and encouraging message, as well as for always supporting the ICO endeavors. Before we proceed, I would like to inform our viewers that we will be having raffle prizes for the most heartfelt Teacher's Day message. In your message, kindly state or include the name of your most loved teacher and post your messages in the comment section. The prizes for our raffle include: we will be picking 5 winners of 100 pesos worth of load, 3 winners of 300 pesos worth of load, and 2 winners of 500 pesos worth of load courtesy of the International Cooperation Office. Winners will be announced before we end our show. Our event today recognizes the vital role of our teachers in educating, shaping, and guiding our children into positive directions. The COVID-19 crisis has made this role more complex and challenging. But despite of these complexities, education must continue and learning must not be disrupted. Our virtual event is also a celebration of our teachers' outstanding contributions to the profession, as well as to the commendable achievements that have significantly made impacts on the lives of their learners and their communities. For this day's discussion, we are elated to present to you our two outstanding Filipino teachers that have received international recognition for their contributions not just to the teaching profession but to their respective communities as well. Founded by Varkey Foundation, the Global Teacher Prize serves to underline the importance of educators and the fact that throughout the world, their efforts deserve to be recognized and celebrated. It seeks to acknowledge the impacts of the very best teachers, not only on their students, but on the communities around them. These past years, several Filipinos have made it to the prestigious Global Teacher Prize. Let's get to know them through this video. Our discussion for today will be moderated by two exemplary teachers. Our first moderator is the GS EdTech Coordinator and Department Chairperson of Xavier School San Juan. A sought-after speaker and trainer, he has shared his experiences and expertise to teachers and school leaders in various conferences and workshops held in the Philippines and overseas. He is the founder of Empowered, an education advocacy platform that aims to celebrate and elevate the teaching profession. In 2017, he was the first Filipino to be a Global Teacher Prize finalist, the Nobel Prize of Teaching created by the Varkey Foundation. His classroom innovations that focus on the use of technology tools, makerspace, and STEAM has been recognized by various international institutions. He was also included in the 30 Under 30 Global List of Literacy Leaders and Change Makers of the US-based organization International Literacy Association for 2019. He's an Apple Professional Learning Specialist, Apple Distinguished Educator, Digital Learning Consultant, and sits as a member of the National Basic Education Commission of the Catholic Educational Association. He hosts Empowered podcast channel on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Friends, let us all welcome the first Filipino Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalist, Mr. Francis Jim Toscano. Our second moderator, who is joining us live from Surigao City, is currently the Education Program Supervisor of Learning Resource Management section of the Schools Division Office of Surigao City. Prior to becoming one, she was known for being an innovative science teacher from Surigao City National High School. She finished Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in General Science, at St. Paul University, Surigao as magna cum laude. She obtained her master's degree in science teaching and doctorate degree in educational management from the same university. She has been teaching for 18 years, and her innovative approach to teaching has been recognized by several regional, national, and international education authorities. She has won a number of awards for her work, including DOST SEI Innovative Practice in Managing Large Classes, finalist of the Ki Hadjar Dewantara Award for Best Science Teacher in Southeast Asia in 2016, one of the top 50 finalists in the Global Teacher Prize of the Varkey Foundation in 2019, an honoree of Batu Balani's The Many Faces of the Teacher in 2019, and Hero Teacher Awardee of Gokongwei Brothers Foundation in 2020. Her work is influencing teaching across the region. She has been invited to share her materials and expertise to train other teachers in their use, both in the Philippines and further afield. Let us all welcome the first Filipina Top 50 finalist of the Global Teacher Prize, Dr. Venus Alboroto. But before we proceed with our Filipino Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalists for 2021, did you know that a Filipino student has made it to the inaugural selection of the Top 50 Global Student Prize? This year's first edition of the Global Student Prize, the top 50 finalists have been selected from over 3,500 nominations and applications from 94 countries around the world. A Filipino student has made it to the inaugural selection of the Global Student Prize. Isn't this something to be proud of? And you might wonder how these students were selected. To quote the organizer of the Global Student Prize, Lila Thomas, head of Chegg.org, this age of COVID, students have shown great courage to keep studying and keep fighting for a better future despite huge obstacles. The Global Student Prize has been launched to shine a light on their stories and listen to their voices. After all, it is their dreams, their insights, and their creativity that will help solve some of the greatest questions humanity has ever faced. Unquote. Let us watch this video of the inaugural finalist of the Global Student Prize. Friends, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the first Filipino student to qualify in the prestigious Global Student Prize. During his childhood, his mother had to work double shifts to make ends meet, which meant that he found himself spending a lot of time at home. However, this gave him the chance to explore books, read newspapers, and discover his own passion for writing, a realization that has helped him throughout his journey as a student journalist and entrepreneur. Journalism has taught him about the problems his country faces, but it has also shown him that the voice of youth is one of the most important factors in upholding truth and protecting individual rights. As the editor in chief of his school's official paper, The Velocity, he has learned how to give his writing a brave voice by emphasizing the importance of press freedom. In addition to his writing career, he is also a budding social entrepreneur. In 2018, he helped design the Acrisius machine, or activated charcoal chelation reservoir for industrial and sewage wastewater initialized using sensors. Acrisius uses activated charcoal to treat and filter industrial and sewage wastewater for communities that have unsafe water resources, yet lack technology to treat them. Further, in December 2020, during the pandemic, he realized that single-use waste like face mask was growing at an alarming rate. He helped design the digital prototype of Kevin, a smart garbage bin that eliminates physical contact through the use of sensors and uses ultraviolet or UV light to disinfect waste, preventing the spread of diseases like COVID-19. His academic achievements have been recognized throughout his school career. He was accepted as one of the 80 students to the specialist Quezon Science High School. In 4 years of junior high school, he also represented the school and won first place in a number of regional science and mathematics competitions. In senior high, he is now top of his class with a general weighted average of 98% and highest honors from his school. His Acrisius project has also won several awards, including first place in the National Science Quest, beating more than 30 other entries. And in February 2021, Caben was hailed as the champion of the ErgoCon competitions organized by the University of the Philippines Industrial Engineering Club. Friends, let us all welcome Mr. Anselmo Miguel Catalia. From Venus and Sir Jim, you may now proceed with the discussion and getting to know our 2021 Filipino Global Student Prize finalist, Mr. Anselmo Miguel Catalia.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone who has been watching our live webinar. Good morning, partner Venus, Dr. Venus. How are you?
Good morning, Maradjaw Karadjaw na adlaw from Surigao City. Okay lang po, medyo makulimlim po dito sa Surigao.
That's wonderful
Good
to hear.
morning, Miguel. Kamusta?
Good morning po. For everything, I would like to greet every one of our teachers here a happy National Teachers Month, and thank you for empowering our youth and inspire them to become better students.
All right, that's wonderful. I want to greet also my fellow Ilocano na imbag nga bigat yung amin. And it's a good day to welcome everyone here. Before we start, let's just give a warm welcome to all our teachers and school leaders who are watching right now. We see different comments that says they are proud of you, Miguel, for your work and your nomination. Of course, later on we will meet the other two Global Teacher Prize finalists. We also want to give a shout out and we want to wish our director Margarita Consolacion Ballesteros a good health. She is supposed to be with us right now, but I think she's not feeling well, and we wish her good health. We want to also give a nice shout out. Dr. Venus, maybe you can do this. Is Dr. Venus with us? Dr. Venus? I think she's having a technical difficulty. We just want to greet our fellow Global Teacher Prize finalists, Dr. Jesus from Iloilo, Ryan Homan from Sorsogon, Wendell from Camarines, and of course, our two new finalists later on. Let me just see. Dr. Venus, are you with us?
Hello? Opo, pero
All
medyo
right. Welcome
nawawala po
back.
yung signal ko.
All right. So welcome back, Dr. Venus. We've just greeted our audience and happy Teachers Month to everyone. 2 days more, and we're gonna celebrate the World Teachers Day. All right. So let's get ready and maybe get to know more about Anselmo Miguel. Anselmo or Miguel, how do you want us to call you?
You can call me Miguel po.
All right, Miguel. Dr. Venus, why don't you ask the first question to Miguel?
Okay, before I ask the first question, let me congratulate you, Miguel, for making it to the top 50 this year and hoping no na makasama tayo sa 10 at saka tayo ang maging grand winner no sa first ever Global Student Prize this year. So, Miguel, knowing or hearing about your academic achievement, very impressive talaga, and your community achievement and engagement is really very highly commendable. So the first question, Miguel, is as a student leader and someone who is involved with different projects, how do you manage your time to obtain balance between your studies, your project involvement, and your personal life?
So hello po. Thank you for congratulating me. Honestly, I'm not very good at managing my time. Sometimes I do lose track of my deadlines like a normal student would do. And honestly, I'm a procrastinator. But I think that really helps me because all of my ideas come out when I'm under pressure. But most of the time naman, you're very productive. Like, a study technique I do is to do little by little of something until I actually finish it. Then eventually natatapos ko naman siya surprisingly. And before last school year, since we have asynchronous task and since we're new to this setup, I tend to do like one subject per day. And sometimes that one subject requires more to do. And so I changed my strategy. And so far naman it's effective. While
Miguel, I think has hanged up. Um, okay, while we wait for Miguel to come back, Dr. Venus, ayan, it's me and Dr. Venus for now. Dr. Venus, Miguel mentioned a while ago about he is also having a hard time. He is also having a hard time in managing his there. How are you, Miguel?
hello
Miguel?
po.
All right.
Saan po ako naputol? What was I saying?
Okay. Miguel, you were sharing about how you manage your time, but you said to us, and you were very honest. Thank you for your honest answer that you're also having a hard time managing your time, which is, I think, very honest and sincere. I mean, all of us has that struggle. Maybe you could talk about more about your thoughts on that line.
So yeah, like what I said kanina, something that I do, a study technique that I do is I do something. I do all of my subjects in one day, but I do it little by little. Like if I finish one task today, I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. So it's not that heavy for me. Unlike before, what I used to do in last school year is I used to do one subject per day. So it's kind of stressful for me. And so now that I changed my strategy, I think it became more effective. I became more productive this year. And on top of that, I'm leading the student publication since it's my third year of being the editor in chief. Um, I really shared this connection with the team, and a lot of them are my friends. So we don't really take org work as something like a burden. we don't take it as something stressful. Somehow we turned it into something fun and something you're looking forward to do. And when you're having fun, you don't really mind the work. So if you're truly passionate for what you do, and of course, what I always tell the members of the school publication, if you're too busy to handle work right now, if you're busy with academics, it's okay to take a rest. And since the pandemic, when it comes to my family involvement since the pandemic, my mom and I have been really close because there's work from home and classes are online. So we did become closer. But of course, being a full-time student helped me manage my time well. Because for me, not everyone has the same privilege to have a lot of time on their hands because a lot of people are working students and marami din yung inaasahan sa mga gawaing bahay. And I really admire those students because um, even though ang dami nilang responsibilities, they still continue to do their schoolwork, and that for me that really inspires me. And because during the pandemic, a lot of us carry our own problems and struggles, but despite that, they still continue to study. And I actually believe that those kinds of students are more inspiring than I am.
Ang
All right.
galing naman, no? Despite the challenge, Sir Jim, na ganun yung no, challenge niya sa managing his time. Pero tingnan mo naman, 98% ang kanyang average for last year. So, very impressive talaga. Ang galing-galing, ano? So, sa dami po ng mga challenges, what inspired you po to be involved in different advocacies?
So, yeah, like what I said kanina po, one of my main advocacies is campus journalism, and I find it really, I find it something that I'm really passionate about. And before I became an editor in chief, I was once just a member of the staff. No elementary campus journalism was, it was very light. You just write about the events like why is Filipinian important or why is it important to recycle? Those kind of those kinds of light stuff. So that's what I wrote before in elementary. So when I joined my high school publication in Quezon Science High School, I thought I thought it would be like that, but it was different. When I entered my current organization, I was introduced to a lot of pressing issues, and I was tasked to write about a lot of social issues. And I remember my first article. I don't remember what I wrote, but I do remember what the topic was. It was about, I think it was random drug testing in high schools. And I was like, uy, ba't ganito yung sinusulat ko? Like, akala ko yung mga school events lang, gagawin natin ng story. So, like, at a very young age, at grade 7, I became socially aware. Tapos same year, during my grade 7, it was kind of like my awakening phase. So ayun, our organization always went to UP Diliman and DLSU TAF to attend journalism workshops and meet actual journalism practitioners. And I learned a lot during that time. Like, dun ko na-realize yung importance ng campus journalism. Because of that, I was inspired to continue with campus journalism, and by the time that I realized na campus journalism is just like real journalism. It is advocate journalism because you don't just write about school events or kung sino ang nanalo sa contest, but what you write about is stories that would actually empower students. And personally, I believe that, like what I said kanina, campus journalism is, for me, it's advocate journalism because it's writing about stories that would protect the rights of students to think and to express their own opinions, and it catalyzes students to transform us into critical thinkers. And I believe that's really crucial for us, and that's what really motivated me.
That was a very wonderful answer, Miguel. I don't know with you, Dr. Venus, and our teachers, but I am smiling right now because Miguel sharing brings my memories back when I was in elementary in grade school. I was also editor in chief of our student organ or student newspaper. That's how we call it before, and it makes me realize how important it is to expose our students. I mean, we have the National School Press Conference right now and all those things. Those are the things that I have been part of also before. But looking back right now, it's really interesting and it makes us proud to know that that programs like this are actually viable in making sure that our students are capable of airing out their voices, writing about their thoughts, especially with social issues. I was smiling at what Miguel has said. Most of the time, we ask our students to write about who won in the intramurals, what else, who did this and who that, and what did they do and everything. But I love what Miguel has pointed out, which means I think we need to mobilize. There are a lot of energy, there are a lot of ideas in the youth right now, and Miguel really is showing us that we can tap those ideas and those energy for greater good. And Miguel, that's a difficult topic, by the way. Writing about random drug testing. You're grade 7. You should have been running around and maybe playing with your friends, but you were already writing about this. I'm not quite even sure if adults had some thoughts about it. So kudos to you. Um, we're now on our last question for our discussion, but don't worry, Miguel will be with us later on. Quickly, Miguel. There are a lot of issues about remote learning at this time of the pandemic, and we have read all of them online. But for us to draw inspiration from you, since you are inspiring a lot of teachers and students right now, how did you cope with the demands of the pandemic? Right, a while ago you mentioned about an honest answer. You don't have much time, or you're having difficulty in that. But how do you manage it really, to be able to do such different work?
So yeah, again, honestly, it's very taxing to keep going, and it's hard to keep being excellent amid the pandemic. And an advice that I personally take, and something that I would give to fellow students is it's simply to rest. Like magpahinga kayo, and you guys deserve it. If your body and mind can take it anymore, it's still better to give yourself time to rest instead of crushing yourself from doing something that you don't want to do. Because if you're tired of doing schoolwork, you won't really learn. You would just think of school as a burden, and it's not really supposed to become a burden. So if you're burning out, this is your sign. It's okay to rest. And pahinga lang ng konti, tas laban ulit, then sulong.
Wow, ang galing naman, ano? So, sabi nga, meron nga sinasabi na it's okay not to be okay sometimes, no? Okay rin minsan mapagod tayo. And really, that is very impressive and very honest talaga si Miguel. So, yeah, no? I think medyo ubos na ang ating time for the GSP session. Kaya we will say muna, ready na po tayo for the next round, which is for GTP. Ano? So on behalf of your ate at kuya sa GTP, Miguel, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Diyan ka lang, standby lang dahil later we will be answering questions from our viewers. So thank you. So back to you, Sir Nino.
Catalia and Dr. Venus and Sir Jim for that very inspiring discussion. I hope our students who are watching our virtual event today will take our discussion as a motivation to excel further in the academics as well as to create a better future for humanity. So let us now proceed to the next part of our program. As I have mentioned earlier, our event this morning recognizes the vital role of our teachers in educating, shaping, and guiding our children. And this role has even become more challenging, brought about by the COVID-19 crisis. But despite these challenges, our teachers are at the forefront of ensuring that knowledge must continue to flourish. Our teachers are indeed our learning frontliners, and as we hope for the pandemic to be over, our teachers are at the heart of our education recovery. At this point, allow me to introduce our Filipino Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalists who are joining us live from Sorsogon City and Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, respectively. Our first panelist is a grade school teacher at Calao Elementary School, Sorsogon City, Philippines, uses innovative techniques and out-of-the-box strategies to make learning fun and engaging for her students. This includes creating a techno classroom where pupils use microphones to recite in front of the class and boost their self confidence, turning her car into a reading car where she would take reading lessons and broadcast them on Facebook so parents could watch their children study, and creating a resort for learning, a part of the school staff with beach umbrellas, a hut, and other props to create a semblance of a beach resort, and a mini library with Wi Fi, which proved invaluable for distance learning during the pandemic. While play makes learning fun for her students, she is careful to build in learning testing and improvement components of her innovative school. The Resort for Learning, for instance, has ability to display PowerPoint presentations, feature 6 reading stations geared for children of different abilities and featuring specific themes: read and spell, shopping of words, read, stop, and dance, pair reading, and pathway reading. She is also careful to see how each child progresses through each one with oral reading tests and songs used to learn phrases ahead of reading and recognizing them in point. Her pupils have won several awards in district level competitions, and she was recently the recipient of an award for Best K 3 Teacher implementing early language literacy and numeracy program. Throughout her career, she has shown compassion and care for her students and their families. She has paid for hospital expenses and surgeries for some students and parents who became gravely ill and could not afford the cost themselves. During the pandemic, she has been supplying face masks and face shields to over 300 learners, visited poor families in her community to deliver similar items, and free food packs crossing rivers, growing through rice paddies, and across a rickety bamboo bridge to reach them all and supervise the distribution of the food packs. Friends, let us all welcome Miss Michelle Rubio. Our second panelist is currently a Master Teacher 2 in the Department of Education and is assigned as Senior High School Teacher. He is a regional trainer for mass training of teachers. He bagged second place winner in the Ki Hajar Diwantara Award in the search for the best science teacher in Southeast Asia held in Bali, Indonesia on September 16 to 21, 2018, organized by CIMEO Kitep in Science. He was also recognized in the International Education Summit in Asia as Outstanding Secondary Teacher in February 22, 2020 in Bangkok, Thailand. In January 2021, he was awarded Outstanding Secondary Teacher by the Asia Pacific Association of Educators Training Institute, or APAETI. He was awarded as Regional Outstanding Researcher and Outstanding Master Teacher in Central Visayas by DepEd Region 7 during the Basidungog Night 2018 on December 2018. He bagged the Outstanding Teacher in the Division of Lapu-Lapu City in 2019 and hailed as Idol Teacher in October 2020 during the Teachers Month celebration. Friends, let us all welcome Dr. Brian Akar. Now I'm turning over the floor to our moderators for our discussion, Sir Jim and Dr. Venus.
All all right, so welcome to Brian Akar and Michelle Rubio. Welcome to the Global Teacher Prize community, and congratulations for the nomination. Before we proceed, how are you right now? We're all live from different places. I'm in Manila. Dr. Venus is in Surigao. Brian is in Cebu.
And I am
Michelle is in
in
Sorsogon. So,
Sorsogon.
how are you?
Well, I'm fine, waiting for this moment, waiting to see you all and to greet all the teachers. Happy Teachers Day.
Hi, Sir Jim. Hi, Ma'am Venus. And of course, the Code GTP finalists for 2021. I'm also fine here in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. My students are watching. Our teachers also are watching. This is a very good way to, it's an early celebration for the National Teachers Month and
Teachers
World
Day.
Teachers Day.
All right. So before we proceed to the serious questions, I think Dr. Venus were very much excited to ask how they felt when they first heard or maybe know that they were nominated. So what did you feel after knowing, after receiving that wonderful email, golden ticket? How did you feel when you received that? So maybe let's start with Michelle.
Well, when I read the email from Miss Rebecca, I was so really happy and was really shouting that, wow, I made it. And the first thing I do is, of course, I thank God for this great opportunity to be recognized as one of the top 50 in this prestigious award globally, to be one of the Global Teacher Prize top 50 this year. So that's what my first impression, that was I felt when I received the email from Mom Rebecca.
Yes. On my part, Sir James and Ma'am Venus, I was also overwhelmed, and I just also thought that this could be a very huge, you know, um, contest for my part, who just started DepEd in 2016. So this year is just my 5 years in DepEd. So I felt that probably I was not ready for this kind of contest. However, it was my student actually who is now in UP, first year college, taking vet med, who actually pushed me and nominated me to really apply and try for this one. So I just tried, and then I was not really expecting and hoping that I would make it to the top 50. But Varkey Foundation, through Mom Rebecca, who is the head of marketing, emailed me sometimes in early June, and then she told me that I belong to the top 50, but I could not yet post the very good news because there is a disclaimer, or there was actually a contract not to divulge any news yet until they announce it formally in Facebook and on their page. So it was overwhelming to be part of the ambassadors of global teachers across the world, and to be part also of the Global Teacher Prize Ambassador Philippines is also a huge probably it's a huge advantage on my part as a beginning budding teacher in DepEd. And then probably also I could also take my part and then also contribute a sharing of what I do best also in senior high school. And probably this could make our collaboration and union in the Philippines, as well as the GTP ambassadors all across the world, unique and at the same time sustainable.
Thank you, Sir Brian and Ma'am Michelle. Actually, I had the same feeling no when during my time when I received that email from Varkey Foundation. Yung feeling na gusto mo talaga siyang i-post, gusto mo siyang i-share, kaya lang bawal, no? Dahil you have to
Yeah.
treat it with confidentiality during that time. So sabi ko, nako, parang gusto mo talaga, halos hindi ako makatulog during my time na wow! So talagang overwhelming, no, yung feeling talaga. So punta tayo sa first question kasi yung kay Sir Gio, ano pa yon? Parang introductory question. Punta tayo sa main question na, what inspired you po to do your advocacies? Ma'am Michelle, si Miss Pink Demic, talagang naka-pink si Ma'am Michelle. Uy, nawala si Ma'am. Sige, punta muna tayo kay Sir Brian. Sir, what inspired you to do your advocacies po?
Okay, I think all teachers in the world, or probably in the Philippines, is kind of unique in their own way, and we all have certain projects, school or classroom project, or even subject project that we really are strong at in doing. And for my part, probably I was little behind about community advocacy, but my advocacy in the classroom actually is something that I'm so proud of, because my students are not only champions in my classroom, but they are also champions in the district, division, national, international contests. And my advocacy is really strong mentoring for science investigatory project. Um, at the beginning of the school year, I really would push my students to go to the community and ask for community problems. And I think this is part and parcel of what my students are doing very good, because they really know how to inquire problems in the community, and they take this problem seriously and would push them to create some inventions and innovations or researches that could probably solve these problems, or could be a very good innovation that could probably be improved later on through the help of other agencies like DOST or fundings. And then just like that, and then my students would start up making their own projects into reality, and then we would join district, division, national, international contests in DepEd and DOST, and even ISEF and NSEF, and then the CMEO, which we are really a member of. And then my students start reaping actually awards since 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. To record, currently we already have 56 winning projects from STEC Senior High School. Another advocacy of mine is that I'm not just, I do not just aim helping my students, although that's our main tasks. My another very good problem project in the school is the LAC session program. I think Ma'am Venus could relate to me on this one, because we don't have so much budget on teacher training, and a LAC session or learning action cell is a it's a pocket training program that could be done in the school in order to help budding teachers and struggling teachers who have a lot of issues and concerns about, student behavior, teaching strategies, pedagogies, assessment, and etc. So these are two of my advocacies. And in fact, we won Best Implementing School for LAC session in the regional level in 2021.
Okay, thank you, Sir Brian. Talagang nakakabilib si Sir, no? Iba-ibang level na ang sinalihan niya at ng kanyang mga students. And congratulations for that, Sir Brian. Punta naman tayo kay na Michelle. Ma Michelle, so what
Yes,
inspired
ma'am.
you po to do your advocacies?
Well, I have so many advocacies, and my inspirations are the school children who are suffering from poverty and illiteracy. And I know the feeling of being unfortunate. That's why I believe this group of children, they have a very short span of attention and interest. This challenged and inspired me to create strategies that will hold their attention and save them from poverty and illiteracy. So, first, I transform my ordinary classroom into something extraordinary class home, and I called it a pink class home, where the children can enjoy read the reading beds, the reading mats, reading tent, reading boat, and reading net, all in pink in color. And this classroom really motivates and stimulates the interest of the learners to come to school every
Level
day.
na ang
That's why
sinalihan niya at ng kanyang mga
absenteeism is not a problem anymore in my class. Then I also made a techno class home where my pupils are using microphone while speaking in front or reciting in front of the class. Even though they are bright students, slow or non-readers, I want them to develop their self-confidence and their self-esteem.
ordinary classroom into
Okay?
something
And just what the narrator said a while ago, I turned my pink car into a
fun
reading
or
car
recite.
where I took reading lesson because I want them to experience riding in a car while the aircon is on. Though it is expensive in my part, what is important is that they had a meaningful experience while reading. And before pandemic, most of the time we are live via Facebook. My learners became studios while the whole world watching them study and learn. So they become studious because they know that the whole world are watching them study and learn. Then these activities were on hold because of the pandemic. But as a resilient teacher, I bounced back. I enhanced the giving of modules and called it Modulab. Why Modulab? Because it is a module with love by a teacher, module with free snacks. It is my way of helping the parents to encourage the children to do their modules and submit it on time. And it also motivates or encourages the parents to help their children to do their modules. And another one is I created a resort for learning. And my inspiration in doing this are the slow and non-readers. Because I always believe in the saying that good
I think we're having a problem again, internet connection problem with Michelle. I think that's one reality of doing virtual streaming right now. But just a trivia for everyone while we're waiting for Michelle to come back. We just want to give a shout out to Dr. Gilbert T. Said. He's the regional director of Region 5. Just a trivia, we already have 3 finalists from Global Teacher Prize coming from Region 5. Of course, that's Ryan Homan. Back in 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018. And then 2019, we have Wendell. Oh, no, no. 2020, we have Wendell from Camarines. And then again, of course, Michelle from Sorsogon also. So I think that's a very good way of showing how Region 5 could be and might be a place of innovators and influencers. But I was listening to the sharing of Brian a while ago and Michelle. Very interesting. Two different advocacies. Michelle is having an advocacy on pushing for literacy, and we know that this has been a concern, really, in our country. How do we continue making sure that every student is literate, and not just literate? Actually, what I love about Michelle is that she's pushing for love for literacy, love for reading, love for writing. So it's not enough to know how to read, but you need to be passionate all about it, right? So that was very wonderful. And if you at the other extreme of the spectrum, we have Brian, and Brian is promoting about and Dr. Venus would really love this as a science teacher. Research, the importance of research, and not just researching on random stuff, but actually going down, right? Going down to the community, being with the community, looking out for the solutions, and at the same time, using their curiosity and the skills that they have in coming up with the best answer to these community problems. Very interesting, very different. Um, Miss Michelle or Michelle is trying to come to return to our live stream. Oh, there, Ma'am Michelle, would you want to?
Sorry, there was
Yes,
an internet problem, internet connection problem. Sorry.
yeah. No worries
Okay.
about it.
So, can I continue, Sergi?
Sure, sure.
Okay. And another advocacy I have this time is the Project M. My adopted pupil named Manuel, who room now in heaven, is my inspiration in doing this advocacy. I promised to myself after he died that I will continue my advocacy of taking care of indigent learners. Because if we really believe that education is for all and must continue, then we should focus to indigent learners because they are the group of children who really need our help and attention. And I also created a resort for learning. And my inspiration in doing this advocacy are the slow and then readers. Okay. And also the Project M. And I have also the Pink Seniors. The Pink Seniors focus to the elderly in our community. So I want them to at least feel that though they are already at that age, they're still productive and important in our community. That's all, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I love that you have included finally also a project that you have for the senior citizens,
Yes.
members of the community. That was very inspiring, really involving everyone. Um, Before we end our discussion, because this is only the first part, by the way, to our audience. This is the first part, getting to know our winners, and then later on we will talk about other questions like how they have coped with the pandemic. But briefly, before we end, Bryant and Michelle, you were asked in one of the questions. All of us were asked, what will you do with the 1 million US dollar prize? So for the information of everyone, the grand winner for the Global Teacher Prize will receive 1 million US dollars. So briefly, in short, Michelle, what did you answer? Sir Bryant, what did
Well,
you answer?
just in case I will be the winner of $1 million, first, of course, uh, I will make the Project M a foundation because I want to help the indigent learners not only in our place, but the indigent learners impossible throughout our country because it's a big amount. That's one of my priority to make my Project M a foundation.
Thank you, Ma'am Michelle. This is not a competition, but Sir Bryant, what did you answer?
Yes, when Mom Rebecca asked me, my answer was of three parts. The first part is that because $1 million is so big, that's probably equivalent to around 49 to 50 million
Yeah.
pesos. So first is that I'm going to have the learning hub in my school, and it would be a centralized hub where the hub could probably house around 100 to 150 teachers and students at the same time. And what's in the hub is just printed and non-printed materials, tablets, online and Wi-Fi, and then of course beside it is a life science research laboratories and facilities where all students could go there and have their qualitative and quantitative testings on the bioactive materials of plants and do also experimentations in some of the ICR laboratory mice or probably rabbit or something like that, because I think from Venus would agree with me that we have less facilities for research in public school, and this is what I want to create in my school, and this will be shared by other schools and probably other divisions in the region. The second one I posted there is that I'm going to have the school bus, because our school doesn't have a school bus yet. And I'm going to name it GTP Learning Bus,
Learning.
where probably every day it would probably route around Lapu-Lapu City and of course pick up some students who cannot, because of heavy traffic, they would be late. So probably it would collect students daily. And on Saturday, Sundays, we will use it for our outreach program where we could reach actually far-flung areas and then also do some cooking food for the less fortunate and do some reading, literacy, and numeracy tutorials for some out of school youth students. And the third one is I'm going to use parcel of the money to travel around the world and know the best practices of science teachers and global teachers. And probably when I go back to the Philippines, every time I travel, I could also share and be a spokesperson of these best practices to my teachers in the school as well as in the Philippines. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Wonderful answers. Parang Miss Universe, no? Wonderful answers. And yeah, fingers crossed, whoever would be part of the top 10, Michelle and Brian, we're hoping and praying for the best result for both of you. At this point, let us watch these videos on the projects and advocacies of our Global Teacher Prize finalists.
Environment is a salient factor in learning process. Thus, I created a pink classroom where the pupils make use of the reading beds, reading mats, tent, and various reading aids, which stimulate their learning interest. Before our Tuesday, Thursday lesson start, a number of students stay in my pink car for reading purposes. Reading inside the cool and comfy reading nook is such a rare reading experience. It means a lot to learners. Beyond the corners of my class home and pink car, teaching reading further takes place in the Resort for Learning, which I created as Teaching Innovation. Its objective is to help non-readers enhance their comprehension skills. The Resort for Learning is stuffed with beach umbrellas and a hat, a semblance of a real beach resort. It has 6 stations. Station 1, the alphabets and Bicol words with pictures. Station 2, picture words. Station 3, the Maronco approach and family words. Station 4, the consonant blends. Station 5, the phrases, and the last station is the Station 6, the sentences and the short stories. While having fun inside, the readers are also given an opportunity to teach the non-readers. It provides an avenue for interaction among students for them to appreciate the values of teamwork and compassion for others. Teachers and school officials from various districts in the division of Sorsogon came to experience the Resort for Learning. Under the Sumpondunong project, which I initiated, a benchmarking at the resort was held. Currently, majority of the schools in Puerto Diaz and Gubat South District have their own version of Resort for Learning. Through social media, schools outside the Bicol region have replicated said innovation. It includes the Ricardo P. Cruz Senior Elementary School of Taguig City, Metro Manila, and the Mate Elementary School in Quezon, Region 4. I initiated improvements in our school library and the barangay mini library through coordination with alumni and stakeholders. Personally, I donated study tables and have been conducting remedial reading classes. I intend to provide additional source of research data and knowledge for learners, students, and the barangay constituents. Under my home-based library project, selected households were involved as extension of the school resort library. It aims to develop reading skills while learners are home with their playmates on holidays. I spearhead the efforts to provide books. There are mother teachers who are delegated to teach children while home on weekends or holidays. I introduced the 1 peso for a cause, Piso Mo Basa Ko advocacy. It prevents student dropout and grade retention. I designed some reading materials to be utilized for the program. Once a non-reader able to read a page, a peso coin is put into his piggy bank as a reward. Moreover, I initiated solicitation for campus projects. Through my efforts and use of personal resources, the amount of 150,000 pesos was raised for the school's water system, e-classroom, school resort library, several school pathways, tiles for classroom and kubo, concreting of Bahay Kubo post, and the Resort for Learning bridge, concrete colorful crayons, and reading post. Said improvements are beneficial to 300 learners at Calao Elementary School. I spearheaded a Dugtong Buhay program. This program of charity works benefited some indigent families in the remote areas of Calao, Puerto Diaz, Sorsogon. The essence of happiness is through sharing. This project has been habitually done for almost 5 years now. Proactive response to the needs of the indigent and the learners are made possible through positive outlook and work attitude, innovative ways, and love for teaching. Verily, saving the life of an indigent learner is the most
meaningful and unique achievement which God allowed to happen in my life as a teacher. Manuel belonged to a family whose parents suffered economic deprivations. Manuel belonged to Section B. I was then teaching Section A. I opted to adopt Manuel into my class for he was a campus nomad who just wandered in the campus on class hours. He got otitis media and a victim of bullying. I took the responsibility of being his second parent. He was able to read because of my extra efforts. Recently, I helped Manuel for his medical procedures and hospital bills. I did never give up despite doctors' advice concerning the severity of Manuel's illness. The day came for Manuel's second surgery due to bone disease. It was a Mother's Day, but I stayed away from my family so that I could attend to an indigent learner in the hospital. Manuel has thrice undergone medical procedures. He graduated from grade school last April 2018. I humbly could say, my mandate as a teacher has been finally defined when Manuel was able to read, while motherhood in me was again fulfilled when I stayed with him at the lowest point of his life and saved him. Unfortunately, as of this moment, the indigent learner now rooms in the heavens. Manuel died last August 30, 2019. Since grade school until his wake, being with him defines my being a teacher, a mother, and a person. Taking care of him was a test of my faith, my commitment, and dedication as a teacher. Our story ends here, but the memories of Manuel Dorado will remain in my heart. I am so grateful to God for all this accomplishment. This is Teacher Michelle, a Master Teacher 2 from Calao Elementary School.
Thank you to our panelists and moderators for that inspiring and motivating discussion. May I remind our viewers that we will be having raffle prizes for the most heartfelt Teacher's Day message. In your message, kindly state or include the name of your most loved teacher and post this in the comment section. Our prizes include 5 winners of 100 pesos worth of load, 3 winners of 300 pesos worth of load, and 2 winners of 500 pesos worth of load courtesy of the International Cooperation Office. Winners will be announced before we end our show. This time, let us listen to a musical performance from our guest performer. His public music life started when he released an album recorded in a makeshift studio in Davao City. To date, he has released 14 albums. His music has unique character, inspired by the musical wealth of Mindanao. He has been part of numerous organizations and institutions such as the UNDP, working on Sining Bayan social artistry capacity building projects with the Civil Service Commission, the Department of Education, and the NCCA. He is an educator and the current Vice President of the Philippine Society for Music Education, where he conducts trainings and capacity building initiatives for our music education teachers. Friends, let us all welcome Mr. Joey Ayala.
Nais kong lumipad tulad ng agila at lumutang-lutang sa hangin, magkaroon ng pugad sa puso ng kagubatan. Ngunit ito ay panaginip lang at maaaring di matupad. Pagkat ang kagubatan ay nawawala, mga puno nito'y nangingibang bayan. At pag walang puno, wala na ring mapupugaran. Kapag ang agil ay walang pugad, wala na siyang dahilang lumipad. O Haring Ibon, Hari kong tunay, nais kong tumulong ng kaharian mo'y muling mabuhay. Nais mong makakita ng agila, huwag kang tumingala at tumitig sa langit. Pagkat ang mga agila nitong ating bayan, ang iba'y nabihag na, ang natitira'y bihirang magpakita. Tiniklop na nila ang kanilang mga pakpak, hinubad na nila ang kanilang mga plumahe. Sila'y nagsipagtago sa natitirang gubat, ang lahi ba nila'y tuluyan ng mawawala. Haring Ibon, Hari kong tunay, nais kong tumulong ng kaharian mo'y muling mabuhay. O Haring Ibon, Hari kong tunay, nais kong tumulong ng kaharian mo'y muling mabuhay. Ako po'y karaniwang
Thank you, Sir Joey, for that conscientizing performance. You are indeed an educator through your music. Let us now proceed with the second part of our discussion. May I call on our panelists and moderators. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now yours.
Right, that was a much needed break. And we are now ready. I think while waiting for Dr. Venus, thank you for to our audience and participants for sending the kind words. I'm pretty sure Michelle and Bryant are happy to read right now your comment. So I think let's welcome back again, Michelle and Bryant.
I was crying. I remember Manuel
Yeah,
and my
I
struggles. Yeah.
very inspiring story a while ago, Michelle. Yeah, Brian, welcome back. And of course, speaking of challenges, we're now at the time of the pandemic, and there are a lot of things happening right now. Dr. Venus, why don't you start the second part of our discussion?
Thank you po, Sir Jim. Naku, talagang naiyak din ako sa video ni Ma'am Michelle kanina, no? May naalala rin kasi ako.
I
Okay.
know.
Oo, naiyak talaga ako. Now, for the second part, no, since our theme for this year's World Teachers Day celebration is teachers, ayan na, may mga manok na, sorry po teachers at the heart of education recovery. So ang question po is, how did you help address the challenges in education at this time of the pandemic? What projects were you able to design and implement? So, unahin siguro natin si Ma'am Michelle, the pink demic teacher. Ma'am Michelle, can you share about
Okay.
your projects?
Wait. Well, there are so many challenges in the education this time of pandemic. What I did, instead of worrying, instead of stressing myself, well, I just look at the bright side of this pandemic. So what I did is I created strategies that will help my learners in answering their modules. As I've said, I use the reward and award strategies. And then I created the pink demi corners to help them at least develop their reading skills while they're at home. And I educate the school children on how to fight COVID-19. I with the I roam around and then I hike and cross rivers to distribute food packs, school supplies, face masks, and shield to 334 children. And I also made a health booklets and I put it in the pink demi corner so that the school children can read these booklets and they will be aware of what will be the the proper way to at least avoid COVID-19. Okay. And I continue doing the reading in the car. And the school children, even we have this pandemic, they are really enjoying reading in the car. Of course, with the permission of their parents and of course following the protocols, the health protocols. And I also roam around, monitored, and help my learners in answering their modules or their learning activity sheets. So those are my activity during this pandemic. So as I've said, never worried. I just look at the bright side of this pandemic.
Thank you, Ma'am Michelle. Talagang nakakabilib. Ano po yung feeling na ang tag na po sa'yo ngayon ay pink demic teacher?
Yeah,
Kasi I have read in one of your posts, no?
It's the
Pink-demic.
positive, it's the positive of pandemic. Okay? The pandemic is the negative side and I created the pink demic. So it's the positive side of pandemic. And just like the pink demic corner, the objective of that pink demic corner is to cure illiteracy amidst pandemic.
That was very good, wonderful. Sorry, I sisingit ko lang, Ma'am Michelle. So,
Apo.
are you ready to be called Pink Demic in your area?
Yeah, I'm already known as pink demic teacher here. The pink demic teacher, the pink demic Santa Mom, and whatever. Yeah.
Now, let's hear it naman po from Dr. Brian.
Thank you, ma'am. I am so inspired with Mom Michelle, the way she, selflessly give out and reach out the community. In my own part, I was more of innovation and creation. So I was challenged with the words of Secretary Briones when she said that she looked forward for a day where no amount of disaster could ever stop us from teaching in the classroom. Filipinos are resilient, and I want to embody resiliency also in my classroom, in the of course in the division levels, and inspire other teachers to also do the same. I think in the division of Lapu-Lapu City, we're the only school who actually is doing full-time online class. We're not doing printed or modular or blended. We really are doing online, both synchronous and asynchronous online. Well, at first we were shocked because we're used of face-to-face classroom. We're doing laboratories, assignments, testings, and observations really in the laboratories. And now we're cut off with this pandemic. And so we're limited with that. So the first question I had in mind that we have to create something in order to bridge the gap. So I created Project Help in my school. Help means hybrid electronic learning program using different LMS, training teachers different LMS just to let them, use of doing online teaching, because from the face to face we have to bridge the gap. And thankfully for 3 months we had our training, mass training for the teachers in the school, and we were ready last year's October opening of classes through our online platform system. Aside from that, there were also portion or percentage of our students who really cannot, make sabay of the online because they really have problems about internet connection. And that's why me and the group of my students had an innovation called Project Campilan. It's an actually offline mobile app for research and biology subjects. So long as they have Android phone, they don't have to connect to the internet. They can actually, go through with the e-modules that is downloaded in the offline, and it is also equipped with the gaming where we highlight our hero in Lapu-Lapu City, Lapu-Lapu himself as a young Lapu-Lapu who ventures into a journey learning research and biology at the same time. So we're integrating cultural gaming plus of course module and assessment at the same time. So these two projects were my main projects since last year, and we were able to recover the things that we have lost because of pandemic. And hopefully this will not change. This will become part of our system, whether there is a pandemic or no pandemic. We feel that online teaching and online learning has its own benefit in the academic setup in DepEd. So we will push through with this one so long as we were able to, and as long as we have support. Thank you.
Ang galing po,
Alright, so
Kung
for
si Ma'am Michelle po ay pink demic, si Sir Bryant, ano po kaya ang itatawag natin? Sidemic, pecdemic, academic. Ano po kaya, Sir
Sidemic.
Jim? Sidemic.
Sidemic.
Maski
Alright,
ano na lang po, ma'am, as of the moment, okay.
I think it's great to listen to Michelle and Brian and get to know more about the challenges that they're facing also. We have a few minutes before we bring back Miguel and open and interact with our audience right now. So may I ask our audience to send in your question? Are you very curious about Global Teacher Prize? Are you very curious about the journey, the projects that they have? Please send in your questions and maybe even your insight, because we will be getting them later on and hopefully having our finalists answer them. I think last question that I have, the pandemic really is, well, Michelle has said that we look at the bright spot or the silver lining of the pandemic, but I was inspired by Miguel a while ago when he said that, there are times when he was having a hard time. So, Michelle and Brian, this is a very candid question. How do you how do you inspire yourself or maybe re-energize yourself, because at some point we feel tired as teachers, as educators? Where do you draw inspiration to continue moving forward even if you feel tired and challenged and all those negative things that we experienced at this time of the pandemic? So Bryant or Michelle, anyone?
Sir Brian, go.
Okay. Where I what are the things that I'm able to do now in order as a stress reliever? In my class, in between classes, I have an audio. I play my favorite songs. So I have a song list of songs that I listen to, from mellow music to fast music to a dance music. I'm also the only person in my room, so I get to close the door and the windows, and then sometimes I also dance, even if it sounds so crazy, dancing all by yourself and singing by yourself. But these are self-love, Sir Jim. I do self-love, and then at the same time, sa kanta nga ni Whitney Houston, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. So probably do not just miss the point also of loving yourself. Well, you're also taking care of the school, taking care of your students' benefits, and look into their own welfare. Also have to also look into your own welfare and do also self love at this time of pandemic. It's very very important. Mental issue is a common issue nowadays, and teachers are not really hindi tayo ligtas sa issue na ito. Marami sa mga teachers din natin are really experiencing mental health issues. And when I go home, I also have dogs. I have also dogs, and then these are my stress relievers as well. And then I also read inspirational books from Francis Kong to Stephen Covey, and then get to be inspired also by their role modeling and leadership philosophies and theories. Thank you, Sir Jim. Thank you, Mom Venice.
Thank you, Brian. How about you, Ma'am Michelle? Where do you draw
Well, as my
inspiration?
source of energy, well, I have these four magic words. I have the love. I continue to love my work. I continue to love the school children. Of course, I continue to love myself. And I keep the passion. I keep the passion. I continue. I enjoy what I am doing. I do what is. I just. I am enjoying my work, and I am always ready to sacrifice whatever problems and challenges that I may encounter along the way. And I always believe in the power of prayers. And Sir Jim and Mom Benos, if God will give me another chance to start my life all over again, I will live it exactly the same way. And that is living a life of a simple school teacher. Okay? Who could say that before I give my last breath, I could say that this little world that God gave me as a gift is a little bit better because I was here as a teacher.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Michelle. Wonderful answers. Para mahilig tayo sa mga songs, like Brian and Michelle. Now let's welcome back again, Miguel, as we proceed to our next part. For our next part, we're now opening the floor to questions from our audience. At first, thank you to our audience for sending in your question, your messages. A lot of kind words, congratulatory messages for Michelle, Miguel, and Brian. You guys are so inspiring, and you really lift the Philippine flag at this time when everything is very challenging. Dr. Venus, I think we have our first question.
Okay, so there is a question here for siguro silang tatlo pwedeng sumagot. What are your ways to make your project sustainable despite the pandemic? Start po tayo kay Doc Brian.
Making it sustainable is very challenging for me. I just have to let other teachers also do the same. Is it mentoring and guiding them and advising them to also follow the same pathways or also be innovative on Naririnig po ba?
Brian, you paused for a
Hello?
while. You got cut off for a while. So please do continue your answer.
Okay. Yes po. Yun po, Sir Jim. I just, guide and mentor other teachers to also do the same and innovate also the best way that they could for their own classroom. Innovation is not just for one person. Any teachers who is creative and has a love for their job can actually innovate something for their own classroom. And then also lobby your projects to the school heads and do some budget proportion of whatever you are doing, because a project who doesn't have any budget doesn't make it sustainable. Thank you po.
Thank you, Brian. Oh, there's a comment here that says, proud to be mentored by Doc Bry. A shout out from Jasmine Borel Misa. And sabi nga nila, sana all they have school leaders who support innovations also. How about you, Miss Michelle? How do you keep your projects running? How do you sustain them?
To sustain my projects and advocacy, I tap stakeholders. I tap alumni and my friends. And most of the time, I am also giving my personal resources. If I really want to make my project realize, to realize my project, I also sacrifice personal resources for it.
Thank you, Ma'am Michelle. Miguel, um, how do you sustain? I mean, ibang level naman si Miguel, no? As a student. Miguel, how do you keep your projects or maybe your initiative running?
So yeah, as I am a campus journalist, before, nung wala pa pong pandemic, it was really expensive to actually publish school papers. And so because of that, we tried to publish it online. And we tried to transition to online publishing. And so we used social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And since 2019, we continued it until today. So we don't really have to pay for anything anymore. We just utilize the free stuff on social media. So ever since nung nag-transition kami to publish our newspapers there, a lot of other schools also publish their own newspapers online. So that's how we use. So that's how we try to make it sustainable and continue the campus journalism projects of our school.
Right. Thank you, Miguel. Miguel, we don't know. I think the audience do not know much about Global Student Prize because it's the first time we're doing it. So maybe Miguel, what is at stake? What's the prize? How much is the prize for the first Global Student Prize winner?
So before, when I applied, the website said it was $50,000. Then nagulat na lang po ako when I was emailed by Ma'am Rebecca, and when it was going to be announced, it actually turned out to be $100,000. So
Wow.
that's what's at stake.
So
Parang
Miguel,
na-double.
what would you do? What will you do with the $100,000 US dollars if you win?
So even before the pandemic, my mom and I always used to donate to kids with special needs in our community. So one of my advocacies would be to help them and continue their studies and continue learning. And moreover, I would really want to pursue and give more to my campus journalism organization, so we would be able to produce more projects and organize more events and mobilize the students. And besides that, one of the projects that I would like to pursue, like what I said in the Global Student Prize, I would love to help kids who are less fortunate to read, and I would love to give them mini libraries for their schools and communities. So that's how I would use the Global Student Prize.
Thank you so much, Miguel. We have one question, and you don't have to answer this if you feel uncomfortable because it's a very challenging question. What is the greatest edge to possibly win? And so I think Marlon Marmol might be asking you, what's the greatest edge to possibly win as top one, whether Global Teacher Prize or Global Student Prize? Maybe you can answer this personally if you want. What's your edge? Or if you're not, it's okay not to
Parang Miss
answer also.
Universe lang, ano?
Sir,
Miss
Sir Jim,
Universe.
Sir Jim,
Parang
para
job
namang
interview.
ano,
Job
Sir Jim,
interview
para
ba?
na, yeah, Sir Jim, para namang buhat bangko kung magsasalita tayo, no, personally. But what I learned from the website of Barkey Foundation, a Global Teacher Prize a project, is that they have actually multiple judges. They call it the Academy. And I think this year there are around 30 to 60 different judges from all around the world, from a teacher, from a principal, from an entrepreneur, different walks of life judging us. So depende na lang talaga, Sir Jim, kung ano yung specific criteria na hinahanap ng isang judges bawat isa, because there's no specific judging criteria here. They just would look into some, some candidate who they feel could have massive impact for the teaching learning process across the world.
Yeah. I agree with Brian. It's a difficult question, and I'm not quite sure if even us before when we were asked that it's really a difficult and question. But I agree with Brian. If you're very interested with the Global Teacher Prize, because after the awarding announcement of the top 10, and then we go with the awarding of the grand student and teacher prize winners, the new batch of nominations would come in. So if you're very interested, you can visit the website globalteacherprize.org and know more about it. All the criteria and indicators are there. There's no one judge. There's an academy. There's a jury that really looks into it. But what we want to share to everyone is that this platform, and we thank DepEd ICO and DepEd Philippines Special Director Marge Ballesteros and our dearest secretary for giving us this platform, because back in 2019 we have what we call as the GTP Caravan. We went around the Philippines sharing about the Global Teacher Prize. And now that you know about the Global Teacher Prize, please do make sure that you also prepare yourselves for the 2022 nominations. I'm pretty sure that we will have a lot there. But right now, we just want to wish and hope for the best result for Brian, Michelle, and Miguel. So yeah, it's almost the end. Dr. Venus, do you have a question for our dear finalists?
Okay, thank you po. Siguro naman kahit whether a top 50 or top 10 or grand winner, basta ang importante po ay nandito tayong lahat sa top 50 as ambassadors. So congratulations po talaga kasi kahit nasa 50 winner na po talaga tayo as one of the best teachers of the world, di po ba? Yes. So during my time, 250 best teachers kay Sir Windel 300. So nasa 350 best teachers of the world na tayo. So part na yan ng talagang title na hindi makukuha sa atin. So siguro for last question is, sino po yung mga taong gusto nyong pasalamatan o i-greet? Yung mga taong nag-nominate sa inyo o yung nag-celebrate, who celebrated with you sa achievement po na ito. Start tayo kay Miguel.
So yeah, first off, I would like to thank my mom, who has been a very supportive mother in all of my endeavors. And of course, I would like to thank my friends and my schoolmates, and to Ma'am Grace and Ma'am Carlo, who nominated me for the Global Student Prize. And of course, to the province of Quezon for always supporting me, to the provincial government for having me and supporting me in my journey as the Global Student Prize.
For me, okay. For me, I would like to thank my family and friends, most especially my mother, who is a single mom. She raised me well with values and the attitude of not giving up and pursuing our goals in spite of poverty and everything else. I would like also to thank my schools, Tech Senior High School, and my co-teachers and colleagues, and at the same time my students from batch 2017 down to 2021, because they were very good, brilliant batch. They were students who are not only very good, but they are students with strong character and values, and they would want to push also themselves to better improve themselves, to better themselves every time they would step up to. They are now in college, and most of them have scholarships and been into big universities like UP and Ateneo and international schools. And they are really my inspiration, why I also keep doing my best, because I would want to really nurture and transform students' lives every year, year in and year out. Thank you, Paul.
Well, in my part, I would like to thank my family. They are the source of my strength and inspiration. They are really my number one supporter, especially my husband and my two kids. They never get jealous with all those accomplishments I've made, but they are really supporting me. They are really helping me preparing all those things. That's why I really thank them. And of course, my school administrators who really believe in me, my school's division superintendent, Dr. Our SDS, Jose Doncilio, ESDS, Ma'am Bernie, Dispala Biladero, and of course, our regional director, Sir Gilbert Sadsad, and of course, my former schools division superintendent, my former supervisors, and of course, my OICP SDS this time, Ma'am Marites Salba, and my principal, Ma'am Jeanette Dones, and of course, my former school heads. They are part of what I am now. Kaya, thank you very much for all your support. And of course, to all my friends na talagang laging nandyan to support me, to inspire me, to encourage me. Thank you so much to all of you.
All right. So thank you everyone, thank you for the people and community supporting our finalists. We
Yeah.
really appreciate the push, the motivation, and the inspiration that you bring with or for our finalists. All right. So before we go to some of our closing activities right now, we are requested to do a a formal photo op. So again, Sir Nino, thank you for being here. Also, if
I will,
our viewers
alisin
and
ko ang
audience, maybe
aking
you
ano.
can take a selfie with us. So, the technical team, are we ready? So, flash your brightest and widest smile as we have our photo up right now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So thank you, Michelle, Miguel, Brian, for joining, for gracing this live Global Teacher Prize Ambassador Philippine Forum, for letting us know more about your advocacies, your work, and we wish you a lot. We wish you good results, and right now your safety and good health also. And we look forward to the announcement of top 10 and for your inclusion. So we hope and pray. So thank you also to our participants for joining us in our Q&A portion. At this point, let us hear some celebratory messages from our friends from the Global Teacher Prize family.
huge welcome to Michelle and to Brian for joining the Global Teacher Prize Ambassador community. I hope you feel so warmly welcomed. I want to be part of that welcoming crew. My name is Maggie. I'm a member of the Global Teacher Prize Ambassadors. I'm a teacher. I'm from Canada, and I actually won the prize way back in 2017. I wish I could greet you in person, but this is the pandemic, so I'm greeting you from a forest in Canada. And also I want to give a huge shout out to Miguel for your application with the Global Student Prize. It's phenomenal. We're watching you. We're cheering you. I was so lucky to win the prize in 2017, and actually the best part of the prize is this community, and it's because we turned it into a family. It's all of these amazingly rich connections to inspiring educators that just keeps me pumped up and excited every single day in my classroom. I'm so grateful for it. So I can't wait for you guys to join it, to feel like you belong, to know that you're part of the thread of our family right now. And we're so eager to have you as well. You're surrounded by some greatness. We've had amazingly active members from the Philippines, from Ryan and Jim to Dr. Jesus, Dr. Venus, and more. There's some of the most brilliant educators I've been able to connect with. And they've done some wonderful collaborations, especially with my Canadian colleagues like Mark out in British Columbia. So again, a huge welcome. Feel at home, be proud. I can't wait to see how you guys are able to use this platform. And so excited to connect with you all. All the best.
As we celebrate the World Teachers' Day, let me remind you that being a teacher is a reward itself. We are privileged to be one of these noble souls. May we not be considered as frontliners like doctors and nurses during this pandemic, but we are involved 24/7 in the lives of the student and the community we are serving. So be proud because we are teachers. Without us teachers, there will be no lawyers, doctors, and other professionals. So continue to love, keep the passion, be ready to sacrifice, and always believe in the power of others. Happy Teachers Day to all teachers out there. This is Teacher Michelle Rubio, 2021 Global Teacher Prize from Region 5, Province of Sorsogon, Preto Diaz II District, Calao Elementary School.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian Siakar and I am a Master Teacher 2 of STEC Senior High School, Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. I am the second placer in Iha Jardi Wantara Award in 2018.
I know that the future generation is in good hands. So once again, thank you for what you're doing, and I hope you have a great event.
To all the teachers out there, always remember that you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Happy World Teachers Day, and may God bless us always.
Happy World Teachers Day from Region 8, Tacloban City Division. Yay!
Anuman ang hamon, magkasama tayo. Yan ang Gurong Filipino. From Essex sa Huning United Performing Arts Company. Happy Teachers Day! Wow! Bye-bye! Ato Libay!
Ako po'y karaniwang tao lamang. Kayod kabayo, yan ang alam. Karaniwang hanap buhay, karaniwan ang problema, pagkain, damit at tirahan. Di ko kabisado yang siyensya, ako'y nalilito sa maraming salita. Alam ko lang na itong planeta'y walang kapalit at dapat ingatan. Kapag nasira, sino ang kawawa? Karaniwang tao, saan katatakbo? Kapag nawasak isang mundo, karaniwang tao, anong magagawa upang bantayan ng kalikasan? Karaniwang bagay ay di pansin, kapag naipon ay nagiging suliranin. Kaunting basura ngayon'y bundok, kotseng gabok ay umuusok, sa bugpan labay pumapatay sa ilog. May lasong galing sa industriya, ibinubuga ng mga pabrika. Ngunit di lamang higante ang nagkakalat ng dumi, ay kinalaman din ang tulad natin. Karaniwang tao, saan natatakbo? Kapag nawasak isang mundo, karaniwang tao, anong magagawa upang bantayan ang kalikasan? Karaniwang tao, karaniwang tao, karaniwang tao, karaniwang tao, karaniwang tao, saan ka tatakbo? Kapag nawasak isang mundo, karaniwang tao, anong magagawa upang bantayan ang kalikasan? Karaniwang tao.
Okay, I'm sorry, naka-mute po pala ako. Thank you to our moderators and panelists for that very inspiring and motivating discourse, to Ma'am Michelle, to Dr. Brian, to Sir Miguel, and also to Sir Jim and Dr. Venus for your time and spent today, and also to our partners. Let me acknowledge our partners for our virtual event, our gratitude and appreciation to the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, and also to the Empowered Podcast channel. So I think we are now ready to pick our raffle winners. Our prizes, we are giving 100 pesos worth of load to 5 winners, 300 pesos worth of load to our 3 winners, and 500 pesos worth of load to our 2 winners. Okay, so for the 100 pesos worth of load, we have Mr. Aldrin Tetreca, Mary Jean Castro Saran, Totep Jimenez Perez, Mariton Marmol, and Jonel Erandito, Then our 300 pesos worth of load, Miss Feli Reyes, Caroline Belar, and Joe James Tumbagahan. And for our 500 pesos worth of load, Mr. Junjun Tulfin and Miss Nancy Omandan. So congratulations. So if you want to read their most heartfelt Teachers Day message, you can read it through our comment section. At this point, as a gesture of our appreciation to our panelists and moderators, we would like to give these certificates for their invaluable time and insights. First, to Mr. Anselmo Miguel Catalia, our Global Student Prize Top 50 finalist. Thank you, sir. Next is to Miss Michelle Rubio, our Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalist. Thank you so much, ma'am. Dr. Brian Akar, our Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalist from Lapu-Lapu City. And to our moderators, Sir Jim, Mr. Francis Jim Toscano, thank you so much for your time po. And to Dr. Venus Alboroto, thank you so much, Mom, for gracing our virtual event today. Once again, thank you very much to our panelists and moderators for an enticing discussion. We were able to listen to our inspiring GTP and GSP finalists and get to know their advocacies that made valuable impact in their communities. At this juncture, let us hear a message from the OIC Undersecretary for Planning and Human Resources and Organizational Development, Undersecretary Wilfredo Cabral.
To our exceptional 2021 Global Teachers Prize, top 50 finalists, and dear educators, I would like to greet each one of you a meaningful Teachers Month and UNESCO World Teachers Day celebration. The Department of Education is celebrating with you in this virtual event that serves as an avenue for our teachers to share and discuss their best teaching methods and techniques during the pandemic. We recognize teachers as frontliners in the course of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, you are at the heart of the country's overall national recovery. This afternoon is a celebration of your outstanding contribution to the profession. We honor you, our teachers, in producing lifelong learners through tireless efforts and initiatives, particularly in the context of the health crisis. Beyond challenges related to health and well-being, teachers and the education sector is facing, being creative, innovative, and progressive in teaching practices can also be challenging. The advocacies of our Filipino GTP finalists who go the extra mile despite all the hurdles truly inspires us in equipping and empowering every Filipino learner towards a bright future. As the department acknowledges your effective teaching practices, impacted your learners and respective communities, we continue to implement policies and programs for teachers and learners and address the impacts of the current crisis as we work toward recovery. It is my hope that all of you will continue to not lose heart and stay committed in what you do. Rest assured that the department is with you in taking the lead in ensuring quality and inclusive education for all learners, and that capacity building for teachers as well as overall well-being are among our priorities. Congratulations to all finalists, and it is an honor to learn from all of you in your initiatives for your learners, which in a grander scale contribute immensely to nation building. Again, I greet you all, dear teachers, a happy National Teachers Month and a World Teachers Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusek Cabral, for your warm message. And I would like also to thank everyone who joined us today through the ICO and DepEd official pages. This has been Nino Cristobal Celibio. Happy National Teachers Month and advance Happy World Teachers Day on October 5. And to finally end our show, let us hear once again from Mr. Joey Ayala.
Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay itipan. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay idipan. Ang sulu ay sindihan, nariyan na ang kadiliman. Umagapang sa lupa, palapit sa ating dampa. Nakatago sa dilimang mga kawal ni kamatayan. Huwag matakot, buhay ay ipaglaban. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay idipan. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay idipan. O kay tapang ng apoy sa dulo ng kawayan, pinapasot sinusunog ang kamay ng karimlan. Tularan natin to sa panahon ng kagipitan. Tibayan ang loob ng tagumpay ay makamtan. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay idipan. 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 La 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 lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay di pa. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay di pa. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay di pa. Lumiyab ka, liwanag mo ay di pa.